Hey everyone! If you love Microsoft Flight Simulator in VR but struggle with performance issues, stuttering, or just want the smoothest experience possible, you're in the right place. Today, I'll show you how to optimize your settings and setup with the best tweaks and tools available. Let's get started. The foundation, the Nvidia drivers. First up, we have the Nvidia drivers. These are crucial for getting the best performance out of your GPU. Always make sure you're using the latest Game Ready or Studio drivers. I highly recommend the Game Ready drivers. They come with optimizations and fixes that can enhance stability and FPS. Also, a clean installation help avoid conflicts from previous versions. Here in the Nvidia website, you can see that you can always check here and see if you're update or not. Here you can see that the latest right now is this version, the 572.42. You might see a new version when you watch this video. How to know if you're under the last driver? You just go to the Nvidia panel, then you go here, bottom left, system information, and you'll see that the driver version it's here under details. If you're using the Nvidia app, it's easier, but I don't recommend the Nvidia app in VR at this time. So I'm not using the Nvidia app, so I highly recommend to uninstall that feature until it works. With Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, it gives you a hit in performance, and some DLSS 4 features are not possible using the Nvidia app, so we're going to talk about that later. In image sharpening, I'm turning that off. Ambient occlusion, it's off. Isotropic filtering is application control here, but we'll change this in the program settings later. I'll show you. Anti-aliasing FXAA off, anti-aliasing gamma correction on, anti-aliasing mode application control, transparency off, background application Mac frame rate off, CUDA GPUs all. You can select the one you have here. Then the system fallback policy is driver default, low latency mode off, max frame rate off, monitor technology. I'm using a G-Sync compatible monitor, so it's there. Multi-frame sample AA off, OpenGL GDI compatibility auto, OpenGL rendering GPU auto select, power management mode normal, refresh rate application control, shader cache size default, because I'm gonna to change all this in the program settings. Texture filtering off, texture filtering native LOD bias allow, texture filtering quality in quality, texture filtering trilinear optimization on, thread optimization auto, triple buffering off, virtual sync use the 3D application setting, pre-render frames 1 here, virtual reality variable rate super sampling off, and this is not important, Vulkan OpenGL preset method auto. What's important is here, program settings. I'm gonna select from the list Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 or 2020, and then this is the most important thing in the driver's side. Image sharpening, I have this set to off, but you can use and try different settings here. I used to use 1 here, not 1, 75 I mean, and here like the default setting is 0.17. okay, then ambient occlusion, you can't touch that, if not ignore. Anisotropic filtering 16 times. Anti-aliasing gamma correction, global setting on. Anti-aliasing mode, use global setting, application control. Anti-aliasing transparency, setting off, global setting off. Background application max frame rate off. CUDA GPUs global setting all. CUDA setting fallback policy, driver default. Low latency mode off. Max frame rate off. Monitor technology G-Sync. Then OpenGL GDI compatibility auto. OpenGL rendering GPU. Now you change that and select your GPU. Power management mode, this is very important. Prefer maximum performance. Prefer refresh rate, application control. Texture filtering off. Here it's important. Texture filtering native LOD bias clamp. Texture filtering quality high quality. Texture filtering trilinear optimization on. Thread optimization on. Triple buffering default off. Vertical sync, use global settings. And virtual reality pre-rendered frames 3. Here I'm using 3 because I'm using the Ryzen 7800 X3D processor, so it allows my system to have a good communication between the GPU and the CPU. So the CPU is processing 3 frames, sending those frames to the GPU in advance. So that's what this feature does. It says virtual reality pre-render frames limits the number of frames the CPU can prepare before the frames are processed by the GPU. Lower latency is preferable for virtual reality headsets. So this avoids, if you have enough power, to have less latency. And that's it, guys. Apply, and that's it about the drivers. DLSS 4. DLSS 4 is the deep learning supersampling, a game changer for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It uses AI to upscale lower resolutions, providing smoother performance without compromising visual quality. Enable DLSS in Microsoft Flight Simulator can boost frame rates, especially in VR. So the first thing you want to do is to check if you're already using the preset K with the DLSS 310.2.1, also known as DLSS 4. If you're not getting this information here, you need to do the next thing. You need to go to the registry editor here. It's this one, okay? And you need to go to hotkey local machine software, Nvidia Corporation Global NGX Core location, and then add this entry. You right click on new, vword 32-bit value, and then you're going to use this name, show DLSS indicator, with a value of 1024 or X400. use decimal just in case, 1024 here. You click OK, and this thing, this entry in the registry at the Nvidia driver here will give you this information in MSFS and other games. Render preset K. We want to know if the game is already rendering in preset K. What is preset K? It's a number of settings into the driver that will make this version of DLSS to work even better according to Nvidia and our eyes, because it's getting better. If you check preset K versus E, for instance, of different presets, you'll notice a lot of improvement. So if you're not getting the preset K because you updated the driver, now you're having the chance to check with this tool if you're using preset K and if you have the latest DLSS version. You might not see this. You might see 3.7 point something. That's the preset E, and that's the Flight Simulator default configuration. So we want to improve that and go to the Nvidia Profile Inspector. You download the Nvidia Profile Inspector, you click there, you launch the Nvidia Profile Inspector, and you'll see that here we have different profiles. This is the base profile for all the games. You can change for all the games or maybe just for Microsoft. You type Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Microsoft Flight Simulator it's 2020 and 2024 is 2024. If you're doing this for 2020, you're looking for this one. 2024 is here. You go down until you find in 5 common. Okay, here, force preset letter in DLSS. You click here and you go down to preset K. Force level quality, you can change that. I don't recommend this. And here, enable DLL override. It will override those files we have in the Microsoft Flight Simulator folder. These ones here, the MVN GX files, will be replaced by the driver's latest version. Okay? If you click here and you click on apply changes, you will use the DLSS version from the driver, not the files you place here. You can check once you save and apply changes, and if you open the Microsoft Flight Simulator and you're getting the preset K and the latest DLSS version, you're good to go. If you're not getting that, DLSS Swapper will copy the latest DLSS file into the Microsoft Flight Simulator folder. So you go here, library, and you download the latest version, which right now is 310.2.1. Right now, once I already have this version download. If you don't have that, you'll see this icon. It's like a download icon. You click there, and that's it. Once you have the version, you go to games, and here you see the version you are already using. You might see 3.7 point something or whatever. So you double click and you click here in DLSS, This won't work because I'm already using the Flight Simulator program, so it will tell me that it's not possible to swap. But what you can click here with the Flight Simulator Close application, you click there, swap, and that's it. You're now using the DLSS version 310.2.1. You close the DLSS swapper and you go back to Flight Simulator and check if preset K and DLSS 310.2.1 is working. And that's it. That's DLSS 4, and now you are using DLSS 4. Virtual Desktop. For those using MetaQuest 3, Virtual Desktop is a game changer. It allows you to stream MSFS wirelessly from your PC, providing a crisp lag-free experience when properly configured. The key settings to tweak are bitrate, refresh rate, and ensuring your router supports Wi-Fi 6 for the lowest latency. Here, you have to download the streamer app from this site, vrdesktop.net, and once you install the Virtual Desktop Streamer, which is here, you have the chance to select the codec. The codec is the method this video we're watching here will reach our headset. It's the way the images are processed until our eyes can watch the content in the headset. I highly recommend the HEVC 10-bit codec or AV1 10-bit for Quest 3. You can try different codecs depending on your GPU. These codecs are for 40,000 series or 5,000 series graphic cards. If not, you can use this and this. You'll see a bit of artifacts or compression, but you can be okay. Here the runtime. If we want to use virtual reality, we have the option to use SteamVR or Virtual Desktop XR. I highly recommend using virtual desktops because it's faster and it's lighter. I mean, it's not that heavy because SteamVR uses a lot of resources that we don't really need. Then you have the audio streaming, VR headset only, and use virtual audio driver. Then all these settings are just like this. If you want to check, these are the default, don't touch. If you want to start this with Windows, you click here, and here start minimize in tray, whatever. I'm not using Virtual Desktop as a daily driver because I'm using the Pimax Crystal. So sometimes I use it, sometimes I'm not using this. So start with Windows is not really important. Okay, now let's go to virtual reality. Okay, now we're using the MetaQuest 3 feed horizon, and here you have the feed, and you click on virtual desktop. You type that here, virtual desktop, and here's the app you need. Here, this is you have the streamer here on your PC, and now you need the app for the headset. This thing is $25, $24.99. Okay, so you must buy this in order to use this. But I highly recommend because it's a game changer. It's really a game changer. It works much better. Once you have that, You open the virtual desktop streamer software, and here you'll see that the streamer installed at your PC is working. Now I'm getting exactly what I have in my PC. You see? That's my PC, and here's what I have. I keep this button pressed, and you move the screen. You can press both buttons and make it bigger. Yeah, you can move it like this, whatever. And I usually use the same size of my monitor. Okay, now we're into the virtual desktop thing, and now we can click on the left controller button here, the options, and here are all the options. At first, you might see that the environment is right now is in the pass-through, but you might see this like this. It's a house with a gaming computer here with a that CPU is a bit crazy. And here you have the different settings. You have settings. You can take a look at the settings I'm using here. The quality of the environment high. The frame rate I'm using here right now, it's 90 frames per second. It's 90 hertz. Then the desktop bitrate is the amount of information the streaming has right now. But it's not important. This is just for the experience when you move here and you look at the different environments or whatever. You can also take a look here. It's your computer's in this theater. But I like to use the pass-through because I feel like it's better. Then you have streaming, and this is important. The first thing you want to do is to check your computer GPU. If it's listed here, you can click there and use the configuration according to your GPU. What it means? This means that every option here is related to a resolution. Godlike is 3072 by 3216. So this will be your native resolution. If you click on Ultra means 2688 by 2784. Okay, beer frame rate. You can choose the frame rate you're going to use. This is also very important because if your GPU and CPU can't handle enough frames, it's useless to use a higher frame rate. Godlike. I'm coming back to my resolution. Godlike. What's important here is that if you're going to use 90 frames per second or 90 hertz in our HMD, our headset, we must decide if those frames are going to be true frames, which is in Flight Simulator is really, really hard to achieve 90 frames per second, or we're going to use synchronous space warp. Synchronous space warp is a method, an algorithm that will make, for instance, if you choose 90 frames per second, this algorithm will be like a frame generation thing. So you have always enabled, and your computer will be making 45 instead of 90. The rest of the frames are going to be frame generation or single space warp. In other headsets, it's called reprojection or smart smoothing in Pimax Crystal, for instance. But this thing works really, really good. So we're going to use always enable, and you can try 72, 80, 90, and 120. If you're going to 120, you will need a PC with 60 frames, real 60 frames capable GPU. So if you're not reaching 60 frames per second, you won't reach the fake frames here at 120. So in most cases with a 90 frames per second or 90 hertz, it's fine. Just use 90 hertz and always enable. The Snapdragon game super resolution is this processor we have in the headset is the reason we can use space warp. Check the game super resolution option here, video buffering, track controllers because you want to have the controllers in the game, increase color vibrance, increase video nominal range, makes dark colors darker and bright colors brighter. It's a nice tool. And this one is going to show the performance overlay when we're into the game. So you want to have this off. If not using this when testing, turn it off. If you want to test how good your settings are working, turn it on. Then you have the VR bitrate, and this is the amount of data your router will be able to receive and send from the PC to the router and then to the headset. 130, it's a good number for a Wi-Fi 6 router. If you have an older device, go down. You can try 90, you can try 120, whatever. Try. This is very personal, depends on the if you're under a busy network or if you're having problems with the distance between the router and your PC and your headset. So try to be very, very conservative here. This is very important. And that's it. Sharpening, you can use 70 or something. And that's it. Here it says launch SteamVR. We don't need to launch SteamVR because, like I said, we're using, let me minimize this here. We're using Virtual Desktop XR, so we don't need to use the SteamVR version. Okay, and now we are ready to use Flight Simulator in VR. And now we are into VR. Like you see, I'm in 90 frames per second. The router is showing up as 1200 megabytes per second in godlike mode, and space warp is enabled. Here I can see the runtime, Virtual Desktop XR. It tells me that I'm using the Quest 3, and here's my configuration with the bitrate and max bitrate, and the encoding information is here in the middle. Also, you can see the version and the GPU I'm using with the driver version next to the 4090 in this case. Okay, so we have all the information. If we want to remove that, remember, you have to go back to the settings and turn on the in-game information. Okay. OpenXR Toolkit, the ultimate VR optimization tool. The OpenXR Toolkit is essential for VR flight simming. It provides custom resolution scaling, foveator rendering, and other tweaks that can improve performance. Adjusting your render scale and using fixed foveator rendering can give you sharper visuals without compromising FPS. And also now we have a mod from OneSpeed that is giving us more options to crop the image and get more performance. If you're getting trouble to use the mod or your game is crashing, be sure you first enable safe mode. This thing will reset all the settings so you can delete all the settings so you won't have problems with the resolution settings, because most of the people having problems with the mod from OneSpeed are because the resolution set is very low. But to avoid this and to have a real good control of the situation, you have another tool from this guy that it's called OpenXR Toolkit Configurator. I have a video about this, it's the previous video, and here you have the MSFS 2020, which is the same as 2024, and here you have to put in the resolution from the native resolution from your headset. In this case, like we said, the virtual desktop's godlike mode resolution, which are here. You put the number there according to your selection. In my case is 3072 by 3200, sorry, 3000, oh 3216. No, it's 15, no, 16. Okay, and click on crop to FOV. Look at here. Okay, that resolution change, because right now I'm already using some cropping numbers, cropping configuration in the OpenXR toolkit, which result in these numbers: 2380 by 1725. I'm not super sampling. Okay, so once you have that, you will avoid to have a resolution problem when you first start OpenXR toolkit with the mod. If you have this set up properly, and this number, I think the first time you'll get the same number because you won't have any change in your resolution or cropping factors. Let's go here and see what I mean. So you press the hotkeys you already selected on the OpenXR toolkit companion. By default is Control F2, but I changed that to the arrow keys, so it's easier to understand and to navigate through the menu. You press Control F2 or Control down in my case, because I'm using the arrows. And here you'll see that I have the system menu, where you can see that I'm using the configuration I already had with my Pimax Crystal light. It might look a bit overcropped, but you can try different settings, because my idea is to have the up part of the screen cropped, because I usually wear a cap when I fly. So 50% or 60% is good, and that way you're removing a lot of pixels on top of the image, and that means more performance and more resolution. But if I go to and use custom and super sample this to, let's say 130 and 130, it can be less. No, yes, then there you see. Now I'm using render resolution 101%. I'm looking at it's better, the resolution, of course. The image quality, it's really nice. And the frame rate, like you see, it's 90 frames per second. Okay? It's pretty nice. I might get the same performance using this thing without the cropping, of course, maybe, but that's because I'm using a 4090. If you have a lower GPU, you can try. But the good thing about this is that I can super sample with my 4090 using the virtual desktop and the MetaQuest headset until I see some hit in performance. But I am going to get a better visual quality image. So it's like a new tool with more options, so you have more room to play with. You can try removing down, maybe left or right. Okay, you can try. If you don't get much FPS hits, you can go up and use less aggressive cropping. Once you change your selection, you go out and you go back to VR. Like you see here, I'm getting the same performance, and I'm actually rendering on 110 and 101. Let's try more. Let's try here, let's go up to 150 something here. Let's try. It's trial and error. Every time you try, you can see and check. 120% render resolution, same amount of FPS, better visuals, of course, much better visuals, and I'm getting the same 90 FPS using synchronous space warp. The latency in the game is 0, so it's pretty good, and the latency here with the bitrate at 130, it's 38, 40 maybe, depends. And that's what this tool is all about. So, Auto FPS by Reset XPDR right now, version 4.4.5, is a little software that will manage our terrain level of detail, object level of detail, and cloud quality. Okay? How this works? You have to go to dynamic settings and turn them off, because dynamic settings is like a copy of this feature. Asobo took the idea from auto FPS and said, okay, let's make something very similar, but it's not working very nicely, so we still need to use auto FPS, because auto FPS is giving us a lot of different settings and options. So you must turn off dynamic settings here and use auto FPS. Here, like I said, if you're using 45 frames per second, real 45 frames per second, and using synchronous space warp, which is 90 Hz, we want 90 frames per second with the synchronous space warp fake frames. Our goal is to achieve 45 frames per second. So this number is very important, because right now we want to have consistency in our frame rate. Using the terrain level of detail, we are going to configure here. We're going to use here the minimum terrain level of detail on the ground will be 100. Yes, you can change this, and then when we reach the high altitude, we're going to have 300 in terrain level of detail as the max. You only need to know that this number here, the terrain level of detail, will change as soon as we go up, and our settings allows the computer to be free to reach 45 frames per second. If the 45 are not reachable, this number won't move. Let's check this in real time. Okay, let's go out. I'm in 2D, but you will see how this works. Okay, 100, and as soon as we go up, that number you now see orange is going up, and the object level of detail next to the terrain level of detail here is going down, because on the ground we want to have good visuals for the objects, but it's not important when we are in the air. So the terrain level of detail is going up, and the object's level of detail should be going down to the minimum. We'll see that as soon as we start climbing. You see, 145. It's slow because this scenery is already high, and I'm going down. You see, the terrain level of detail is going down because I'm going down. Until we reach enough altitude to have the maximum terrain level of detail, which is 300 in this case. This is a game changer because all the configuration will be dynamic. So if we have a low performance and you set 45, some things won't move, like the terrain level detail. If you don't have enough headroom, the Let me change. Oh, flaps. That's why I'm not going up. Um, that's why this tool is so important. And that's it, guys. That's it for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more VR and flight simulator content. Let me know in the comments what your favorite tweak, or if you have any doubt or problems, so we can be in touch. And okay, I can help you. I usually try to get more and more tools and options to improve the simulator and the visuals in VR, especially in VR, of course. So happy flying, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.